Morning. How we doing, fam? So, I like to turn my Instagram into a dear diary from time to time. So, yesterday I had an interesting and pretty beautiful conversation with a homeless man, actually, which been thinking about ever since it happened. Because basically, I took a ride on an electric scooter into downtown. They have these electric scooters now. It was fun. It was ripping around, and I arrived and was on the busy main street down here, Central, and there's tons of people around. And as soon as I dock this scooter, I turn and I see this man approaching me. He's making a beeline through me. He's not looking at anybody else. He's coming right for me, and he's clearly homeless. It doesn't take a detective to figure out if someone's homeless, right? And maybe he is attracted to me because I, have that disheveled, homeless chic look about me. But either way, he comes right up to me and he asks me, "Can he talk to me? Can he say something to me?" And I'm like, "Of course you can." And now immediately here, well, I think that life has an incredible way of presenting you with the opportunities, people, or lessons to show you your work, to show you where you're not free. I view life in this way. So immediately, as he's approaching me, I watch, I observe, myself, my ego go right up in here to the level of the mind and immediately start creating that separation. Because we all have our prejudices. When you're identified at the level of mind, you cannot not have those. And I think we'd all understand this to a degree. The immediate narrative is homeless person wants my money. But I saw it, I caught it, and I immediately, instead of identifying with that and doing what I would usually do, which is like, "Oh, no, I'm sorry, mate, I've got to be somewhere," and run away, is I dropped past the mind and into my heart, and I just looked at this man right in his eyes, and he looked at me. And it was funny because he wasn't after money at all, but you could see that my conditioning had led me to believe that that's what homeless people want, right? They want your money because they want to buy drugs. How many people have that narrative going about homeless people? So he starts to tell me something, and he's being quite vulnerable, and he starts unloading a lot of his life trauma to a complete stranger on this busy sidewalk in St. Pete. And you know what's funny? He's facing away from the traffic of people. I'm facing towards the traffic of people, and I'm simultaneously operating in this space where I'm listening to this man and hearing his words and looking him in the eyes. But I can't help but see the purview of what's going on around me, and I can see the confused look on the faces of people walking by. And they're looking at this strange interaction between a small black homeless man and a shirtless white homeless looking man who's clearly not homeless, having a good conversation, but you can see there's almost like a concern on the face, like that at any moment he might come and try and get them and take their money. And it's a bit painful to see, really, because that further cements this illusion of separateness. Just because this person is homeless and he's not me and he doesn't look like me, that he is somehow different or a danger. And it was what was very interesting, because as this man started to tell me some of the things that had happened to him in his life, like he said, he saw his birth mom at 3 years old murder his father, and that left him with PTSD and a lot of emotional trauma that has hindered him for much of his life. And then he went on to tell me that 3 years ago that he'd lost his wife to terminal illness, and that on her deathbed that his wife had told him to deliver positive messages to people, to remind them that every day is a gift. And he wanted to give me that gift. And he started then to display in real time the tug of war that exists between the head and the heart, because he was saying that he tries to talk to people on the street and they immediately cut him off because of what I was experiencing initially before I caught it, which was just that. This man is trying to get my money. He's homeless. Let me pretend I'm super busy, or run away, or pretend that I don't even see him, because it's too painful for me to acknowledge that there's another human being going through that. Because deep down, we see ourselves in that too. And it's very, very painful to entertain. So we deny the compassion for that. We deny even entertaining that it exists sometimes. And then we tell a story to justify the pain that we feel inside, which is, well, this is a bad person who's doing drugs, so don't give him money because he's just going to do drugs. But here was just a person who had a lot of trauma, and for some reason felt comfortable talking to me. And like I said, he was displaying this real-time tug of war between the head and the heart, because he was saying how he gets rejected by so many people and how sometimes that makes him angry, and that sometimes makes him want to go in here and say, you know, don't look at me a certain way and just hear me out. All I want to tell you and stop and talk to you for a few seconds is to pass on this, you know, gratitude and say, you know, I really want you to remember to live each day to the fullest. And he said, if you've got a wife, you know, tell her she's beautiful. And you know, it was really powerful, because he was talking to me as I was experiencing this very thing, that the only way to break the illusion of separateness is to not get stuck at the level of the identifying mind, is to drop deeper than that, is to drop into the body, is to drop into that heart space where I'm on a different channel now. I'm not seeing this person as different, homeless. The labels, the identities, they fall away and they melt, and it's just another person, another me living a different life with his own unique curriculum and his own hardships. And he must have saw that in me, or he wouldn't have chosen me out of that crowd. And that's why I do believe that life is conspiring to help show you the people, situations, circumstances, to continually probe you and invite you to step into your higher self. Life is giving you whatever experience is most beneficial for the evolution of your consciousness. And that might just be an interaction with a homeless man on the corner of a busy street. And it was just a real world example of compassionate communication. Because I think what a lot of people deny, they deny that we see others as separate from ourselves. We don't want to admit that about ourselves, but we can't deny it. We do this. It's animalistic. It doesn't mean we're a bad person, but when we see people, the animal part of our brain starts to do this real-time this calculation of, is this person the same as me? Are they different? Are they dangerous? Are they an ally? What do they want? Am I safe? It does that. We can't stop that. But we can subvert that. We can drop beneath that. We can transcend that. We can go past that with awareness. Without awareness, we become locked in that prison. And you cannot escape a prison you don't know you're in. And a lot of people deny it. A lot of people are in resistance to that idea because they want to fundamentally believe that they're better than that. And that's coming from a good place. It's a great intention to have, but what you resist persists. You can't deny that aspect of the human experience. But what you can do is challenge yourself to catch yourself in the conundrum that is being a human being, and to drop in then, and to get close to somebody and compassionately communicate past the labels, past the I'm in a home, you're not in a home, past the black and white, past the Asian, past the thin, past the fat, past the what your meat suit looks like, past whether I'm attracted to you or not, past whether you're a man or a woman or whatever, past all of it. Because past all of that is a soul, is a human being, just like me, just like you, just like every other one of the 7.5 billion ones on this planet, with their unique thing going on, their unique baggage, their unique meat suit, their unique clothes, their unique identifications, their unique curriculums. And when you can get past that place and you can connect with another person, it's incredibly healing for both people, because it affords us a glimpse at what is real, what is really real, what is eternal. And it just transcends all of these barriers. And I think, if anything, we need more compassionate communication today. We really do. We are communicating extremely violently, and even if it's not physically violent, it's violent in the energy and the words that we choose. It's very divisive. It's very us and them. It's very very tribal. And the only way we can transcend that is to acknowledge, firstly, the tendencies for ourselves to put up those walls and become tribalistic, and then to do the work to transcend those. To do the work to get out of the level of identification mind, to tune into the different levels of consciousness, to drop below that, to get to that heart space, to look another human in the eye, even a human that I am not the same as, even a human that is potentially threatening me, even a human that has different ideas to me, and to see them. Just see them and hear them out and have a wonderful dialogue. So, I don't know, I just thought that was really interesting, and I was hesitant to share it because you're like, oh, this is a health page, what are you talking about, bro? But I actually don't care. I don't care what this is supposed to be. What does that even mean? This is just me sharing my experiences, and communication is a facet of health. And if you don't believe it is, then I don't know what to say to you. Good luck. Good luck finding joy in your life and communicating in the workplace and communicating your wants and needs to a loved one and communicating with the world around you and communicating with yourself. Because your ability to communicate with the outer world starts with your ability to communicate with the inner world. And if I hadn't developed that compassionate communication with myself first, to catch myself through the concept of awareness, to know when I'm trapped at the level of the mind, then that whole thing would have gone a completely different way. And I would have left less whole, and he would have left less whole, and we would have carried out echoing each other's pain. Because I would have had this felt experience of like, oh, dirty homeless person trying to get my money for drugs. And he would have had that experience of another rich white guy blowing him off because of the way he looks. So, I don't know. There's just a reminder. I don't, expect you to be, Mother Teresa and, go out and, talk to every homeless person. I don't expect you to let your guard down at the expense of being foolish. But just watch. Just watch how quick you are to jump to conclusions, and don't believe everything that you think off the bat. Because a lot of the time it's rooted in fear and scarcity, and a lot of the time your mind is lying to you. And if your mind is lying to you, if you get past that, then therein lies the truth. And the truth can set you free. So have a good day. Peace, love, and meet